Good morning, everyone, and a warm welcome to the International Conference cum Hands-on Workshop on Biomedical Translational Research. I request the honorable guests and the other invitees to come onto the stage and be seated. Professor Rajan Gurikal, Vice Chairman, Kerala State Higher Education Council. Professor Salim Yusuf, Distinguished Professor, School of Medicine, McMaster, University, Canada. Professor James Spudich, Dr. Mohan Kunnummal, Shri.C.Padmakumar, Professor Sanjay Behari, This conference cum workshop is organized by the Kerala State Higher Education Council in association with Sri Chitra Tirunal Institute for Medical Sciences and Technology, Trivandrum, and Kerala Medical Technology Consortium. The event aims at bringing together and supporting all stakeholders in the medical research and translation domain. The 2 days conference cum workshop will have power-packed interactive and insightful sessions, panel discussions, and hands-on training with an impressive line of speakers and resource persons. We are honored to have here the Honorable Chief Minister of Kerala, Shri Pinarayi Vijayan, for inaugurating the conference cum workshop and presenting the Kairali Global Lifetime Achievement Prize for Researchers in Science for the year 2021 to Professor Salim Yusuf, Distinguished Professor, McMaster University, Canada. Now I humbly invite Professor Rajan Gurikal, Vice Chairman, Kerala State Higher Education Council, for the welcome address.
Honorable Chief Minister Shri Pinarayi Vijayan, other distinguished personages on the dais and distinguished guests of the dais, dear participants. Chief Minister has an urgent program in Delhi, so he will have to leave as early as possible. So I don't want to go into the details of the conference because you all know it. This is the third one in the series. The main objective is to build up biomedical research ecosystem in medical colleges. We have eminent persons, experts who matter in the field, and we will have 2-day session on medical knowledge production and translation. People who are well known for that are present here, especially Professor Salim Yusuf from McMaster University and Professor James Spudich, the Lasker Award winner from Stanford University, present with us, and then several other dignitaries. Formally, I express my hearty welcome to the Chief Minister. A hearty welcome to the Honorable Minister for Health, Ms. Veena George. Welcome to Professor Salim Yusuf. Welcome to Professor James Spudich, Stanford University. Hearty welcome to Professor Mohanan Kunnummal, Vice-Chancellor, Health University. Other guests are yet to arrive. So I now humbly request the Honorable Chief Minister to inaugurate the function.
Thank you, sir. With utmost respect,
I invite Honorable Chief Minister of Kerala, Shri Pinarayi Vijayan, to deliver the inaugural address.
സഹോദരീ സഹോദരന്മാരെ, കേരളത്തിൻ്റെ മെഡിക്കൽ വിദ്യാഭ്യാസ സ്ഥാപനങ്ങളിൽ ഗവേഷണ താൽപ്പര്യവും ഗവേഷണ അന്തരീക്ഷവും വർദ്ധിപ്പിക്കുന്നതിനായി ഉന്നത വിദ്യാഭ്യാസ കൗൺസിലിൻ്റെ നേതൃത്വത്തിൽ കോൺഫറൻസുകളും ശില്പശാലകളും നാം നടത്തി വരികയാണ്. അത്തരത്തിലുള്ള ഒന്നാണ് ഇന്നിവിടെ ഉദ്ഘാടനം ചെയ്യപ്പെടുന്ന ഇൻ്റർനാഷണൽ കോൺഫറൻസ് ഓൺ ബയോമെഡിക്കൽ ട്രാൻസ്ലേഷണൽ റിസർച്ച്. ലോക മെഡിക്കൽ സ്ഥാപനങ്ങൾ ഗവേഷണത്തിൽ മാത്രമല്ല ട്രാൻസ്ലേഷണൽ ഗവേഷണത്തിലും വളരെ മുൻപിലാണ്. ഈ ഘട്ടത്തിൽ കേരള സർക്കാരും മെഡിക്കൽ ഗവേഷണത്തിനും നോളജ് ട്രാൻസ്ലേഷണൽ ഗവേഷണത്തിനും വലിയ പ്രാധാന്യം നൽകുകയാണ്. ഗവേഷണ ഫലങ്ങൾ അക്കാദമിക് രംഗത്ത് മാത്രമായി ഒതുങ്ങി നിൽക്കുന്ന കേവലം അറിവുകളായി ചുരുങ്ങിപ്പോകരുത് എന്നും അവ സമൂഹത്തിനാകെ ലഭ്യമാവുകയും ഉപകരിക്കുകയും ചെയ്യുന്ന ഉൽപ്പന്നങ്ങളും സേവനങ്ങളുമായി പരിവർത്തനം ചെയ്യപ്പെടണമെന്നുമുള്ള കാഴ്ചപ്പാടാണ് സർക്കാരിനെ നയിക്കുന്നത്. ആ നിലക്ക് ശാസ്ത്രത്തെയും സാങ്കേതിക വിദ്യയുമെല്ലാം മനുഷ്യ നന്മയ്ക്കും സാമൂഹ്യ പുരോഗതിക്കുമായി പ്രയോജനപ്പെടുത്തുകയാണ്. അതിനുതകുന്ന മുൻകൈകളാണ് ഇതുപോലെയുള്ള കോൺഫറൻസുകളും ശില്പശാലയും. ഈ കോൺഫറൻസും ശില്പശാലയും അന്താരാഷ്ട്ര തലത്തിൽ പ്രശസ്തരായ വിദഗ്ധരുടെ നേതൃത്വത്തിൽ ശ്രീ ഇൻസ്റ്റിറ്റ്യൂട്ട് പോലെ വിഖ്യാതമായ ഒരു സ്ഥാപനത്തിൽ വെച്ച് നടത്താൻ കഴിയുന്നതിൽ അതിയായ സന്തോഷമുണ്ട്. At the outset, let me extend a warm welcome to all the experts who are here with us from different parts of the world to share their insights. We are sure that your knowledge and expertise will be useful for us, especially as we are striving to promote the conduct of medical research, the creation of medical technology, the production of medical equipments, and so on, right here in Kerala. I would also like to place on record our gratitude to the Sri Institute for hosting this important international conference. കേരളത്തിൻ്റെ ആരോഗ്യപരിപാലന സംവിധാനം നമ്മുടെ രാജ്യത്ത് തന്നെ ഒന്നാം സ്ഥാനത്താണ്. അന്താരാഷ്ട്ര സ്ഥിതി പരിശോധിച്ചാൽ ആരോഗ്യപരിപാലനത്തിൻ്റെ കാര്യത്തിൽ വികസിത രാജ്യങ്ങളുടെ നിലവാരത്തിലാണ് കേരളം. അതുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെ ഇന്ത്യയിലെ പൊതു സാഹചര്യങ്ങളെ അപേക്ഷിച്ച് കേരളം അഭിമുഖീകരിക്കുന്ന ആരോഗ്യ പ്രശ്നങ്ങൾ വ്യത്യസ്തമാണ്. അവയ്ക്ക് വികസിത രാജ്യങ്ങളിലെ പ്രശ്നങ്ങളോടാണ് സാമ്യം. അത് സൂചിപ്പിക്കുന്നത് ഗവേഷണ തലത്തിൽ കേരളത്തിന് ദേശീയ തലത്തിൽ നിന്ന് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ദേശീയ നയത്തിൽ നിന്ന് ഭിന്നമായ ഒരു നയം ആവശ്യമാണെന്നതും അത് ലോക നിലവാരമുള്ളതായിരിക്കണമെന്നതുമാണ്. എന്നാൽ വികസിത രാജ്യങ്ങളിലെ ആരോഗ്യ ഗവേഷണ നിലവാരത്തിലേക്ക് കേരളത്തിന് വളരാൻ ഇനിയും സാധിച്ചിട്ടില്ല എന്നതാണ് യാഥാർത്ഥ്യം. സാധ്യമായ എല്ലാ മാർഗങ്ങളും ഉപയോഗിച്ച് കേരളത്തിലെ ആരോഗ്യരംഗത്തെ ഗവേഷണത്തിൻ്റെ നിലവാരം വികസിത രാജ്യങ്ങൾക്കൊപ്പം എത്തിക്കണം. അതാണ് സർക്കാർ ലക്ഷ്യമാക്കുന്നത്. ദേശീയ ആരോഗ്യ വിദ്യാഭ്യാസ നയമനുസരിച്ചാണ് കേരളത്തിലെ മെഡിക്കൽ വിദ്യാഭ്യാസം പ്രവർത്തിച്ചു വരുന്നത്. ദേശീയ അന്തർദേശീയ ലക്ഷ്യങ്ങളോടെ ഐക്യരാഷ്ട്രസഭയുടെ സസ്റ്റൈനബിൾ ഡെവലപ്മെൻറ്റ് ഗോൾസ് 3 പ്രകാരമുള്ള ചെറുകിട ഇടത്തരം സംരംഭങ്ങൾ ആരോഗ്യരംഗത്ത് കേരളം നടപ്പാക്കി വരുന്നുമുണ്ട്. എന്നാൽ അതേസമയം ആരോഗ്യ ഗവേഷകരുടെ ശ്രദ്ധ പതിയേണ്ട പല പ്രശ്നങ്ങളും കേരളത്തിൽ വർദ്ധിച്ചു വരികയാണ്. വിട്ടുമാറാത്ത രോഗങ്ങളും പകർച്ചവ്യാധികളല്ലാത്ത രോഗങ്ങളും അനുഭവിക്കുന്നവരുടെ എണ്ണം സംസ്ഥാനത്ത് വർദ്ധിച്ചു വരുന്നതായി പഠനങ്ങൾ സൂചിപ്പിക്കുന്നു. സാമ്പത്തിക അസമത്വവുമായി ബന്ധപ്പെട്ട പ്രശ്നങ്ങളും പ്രായാധിക്യമുള്ളവർ വർദ്ധിച്ചു വരുന്നതിൻ്റെ പ്രശ്നങ്ങളും അവരുടെ ചികിത്സക്കായി പ്രത്യേക സംവിധാനം വികസിപ്പിക്കേണ്ടതിൻ്റെ ആവശ്യകതകളും ഏറി വരികയാണ്. കേരളം ആരോഗ്യരംഗത്ത് നേരിടാൻ പോകുന്ന മറ്റ് വെല്ലുവിളികൾ എന്തൊക്കെയാണെന്നതും സംസ്ഥാനം നടത്തേണ്ട തയ്യാറെടുപ്പുകൾ എന്തൊക്കെയാണെന്നതും പഠനവിധേയമാക്കേണ്ടതുണ്ട്. കേരളത്തിൻ്റെ ആരോഗ്യ പരിപാലന വ്യവസ്ഥയുടെ വികസനത്തിനാവശ്യമായ പുതിയ അറിവുകൾ കണ്ടെത്തേണ്ടിയിരിക്കുന്നു. കാലതാമസമില്ലാതെ തന്നെ അവ ജനങ്ങൾക്ക് പ്രയോജനപ്പെടുത്തുകയും വേണം. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് ട്രാൻസ്ലേഷണൽ ഗവേഷണത്തിന് സർക്കാർ ഊന്നൽ നൽകുന്നത്. പല പ്രാദേശിക രോഗങ്ങളുടെയും മൂലകാരണം ഇനിയും വ്യക്തമല്ല. ഇതിനെല്ലാം വിദഗ്ധ പഠനങ്ങൾ ആവശ്യമാണ്. ബയോമെഡിക്കൽ രംഗത്ത് ബൗദ്ധിക സ്വത്ത് പ്രദാനം ചെയ്യുന്നതിൽ നമ്മുടെ ഗണ്യമായ പങ്ക് ഉറപ്പാക്കാനുള്ള പരിശ്രമം അത്യാവശ്യമാണെന്ന തിരിച്ചറിവോടെയാണ് സർക്കാർ നീങ്ങുന്നത്. അതിനായി ആരോഗ്യ സർവകലാശാലയിലും എല്ലാ പ്രഗത്ഭ മെഡിക്കൽ കോളേജുകളിലും നഴ്സിംഗ്, ഫാർമസി, പാരാമെഡിക്കൽ എന്നീ സ്ഥാപനങ്ങളിലും ഗവേഷണത്തിനാവശ്യമായ സജ്ജീകരണങ്ങൾ വികസിപ്പിക്കാൻ സർക്കാർ ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. പകർച്ചവ്യാധികൾ സംബന്ധിച്ചുള്ള അടിസ്ഥാന പരീക്ഷണങ്ങൾ നടത്താൻ കഴിയുന്ന വിധത്തിൽ എല്ലാ സ്ഥാപനങ്ങളെയും സജ്ജമാക്കാനുള്ള പരിശ്രമത്തിലാണ് സർക്കാർ. ആവുന്നത്ര കേന്ദ്രങ്ങളിൽ ബയോമെഡിക്കൽ വിഷയങ്ങളിൽ മൾട്ടി ഡിസിപ്ലിനറി ഗവേഷണത്തിന് ആവശ്യമായ ലബോറട്ടറി സൗകര്യം വികസിപ്പിക്കാൻ കഴിയണം. മെഡിക്കൽ കോളേജുകളിലെ ചികിത്സാ പഠനത്തിൽ ഗവേഷണം അവിഭാജ്യ ഘടകമാക്കേണ്ടത് അത്യാവശ്യമാണ്. ശ്രീചിത്ര, രാജീവ് ഗാന്ധി സെൻറ്റർ ഫോർ ബയോടെക്നോളജി, ഇൻസ്റ്റിറ്റ്യൂട്ട് ഓഫ് അഡ്വാൻസ്ഡ് വൈറോളജി തുടങ്ങിയ സ്ഥാപനങ്ങൾക്ക് ഇതിൽ സഹായിക്കാൻ കഴിയും. ഗവേഷണ താൽപ്പര്യവും മെഡിക്കൽ റിസർച്ച് യൂണിറ്റുമുള്ള കോളേജുകളെങ്കിലും അത് പ്രയോജനപ്പെടുത്തണം. ജിനോമിക്സ് പോലെയുള്ള കാതലായ വിഷയങ്ങളിലെ ഗവേഷണത്തിനായി ബയോ ബാങ്കുമായി ബന്ധപ്പെട്ട കനത്ത ഡാറ്റാ ശേഖരത്തോടു കൂടിയ അത്യാധുനിക ലബോറട്ടറി സൗകര്യമുള്ള ഒരു മികവിൻ്റെ കേന്ദ്രം സ്ഥാപിക്കാൻ നടപടികൾ ആരംഭിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞു. അടിയന്തര ആവശ്യമാണത് എന്ന ബോധ്യത്തോടെയാണ് സർക്കാർ അതുമായി ബന്ധപ്പെട്ട പ്രവർത്തനം ആരംഭിച്ചിരിക്കുന്നത്. അത്തരമൊരു മികവിൻ്റെ കേന്ദ്രത്തിൽ ലോകപ്രശസ്തരായ വിദഗ്ധർ ഉണ്ടാവണം. ആരോഗ്യശാസ്ത്ര വിഷയങ്ങളിൽ മികച്ച സംഭാവന നൽകിക്കൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്ന മലയാളികൾ ലോകമെമ്പാടുമുണ്ട്. അവരെ മുഴുവനും തിരികെ കൊണ്ടുവരാൻ നമുക്ക് കഴിയില്ല. പക്ഷേ അവരുമായി സമ്പർക്കത്തിലേർപ്പെടാനുള്ള ഡാറ്റ നമ്മുടെ കയ്യിലുണ്ട്. അക്കൂട്ടത്തിലുള്ള ഒരു പ്രഗത്ഭനാണ് ഇവിടെ സ്വാഗത ഭാഷണത്തിൽ രാജംഗുരുക്കൾ പരാമർശിച്ച കാനഡയിലെ മക്മാസ്റ്റർ യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റിയിൽ നിന്ന് ഇവിടെ എത്തിയിട്ടുള്ള പ്രൊഫസർ സലീം യൂസഫ്. കുറച്ച് നാളത്തേക്കെങ്കിലും അതുപോലുള്ളവരെ ഇങ്ങോട്ട് കൊണ്ടുവരാനുള്ള ബ്രെയിൻ ഗെയിൻ എന്ന പദ്ധതി നടപ്പാക്കി വരികയാണ്. ലോകത്തെവിടെയുമുള്ള മഹാപ്രതിഭകളെ ക്ഷണിച്ചു കൊണ്ടുവരാനുള്ള പദ്ധതി നടപ്പാക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. മലയാളി അല്ലെങ്കിലും നമ്മളുമായി ബന്ധം പുലർത്തുന്ന ലോകപ്രശസ്തനായ മറ്റൊരു വിദഗ്ധനെയും രാജംഗുരുക്കൾ പരാമർശിക്കുകയുണ്ടായി. പ്രൊഫസർ ജെയിംസ് സ്പൂഡിച്ച് സ്റ്റാൻഫോർഡ് യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റിയിൽ നിന്ന് ഇവിടെ എത്തിയിരിക്കുകയാണ്. നൊബേൽ സമ്മാന ജേതാക്കളെ ക്ഷണിച്ചു കൊണ്ടുവന്ന് അവരുമായി നമ്മുടെ ഗവേഷകർക്ക് ഇടപെടാനുള്ള അവസരമൊരുക്കുന്ന സ്കോളർ ഇൻ റെസിഡൻസ് പദ്ധതിയും നടന്നു വരികയാണ്. ലോകത്തെവിടെയുള്ളതായാലും എല്ലാ മഹാസ്ഥാപനങ്ങളിലും മലയാളികളുണ്ട്. ഏത് വിഷയത്തിലും പ്രാഗൽഭ്യം തെളിയിച്ചിട്ടുള്ള മലയാളികളെ ലോകത്തെവിടെ നോക്കിയാലും കാണാം. പക്ഷേ അവരെല്ലാം പ്രതിഭ തെളിയിക്കുന്നത് കേരളത്തിന് പുറത്തു പോകുമ്പോഴാണ്. എന്തുകൊണ്ടാണ് അവർക്കൊന്നും ഇൻഹൗസ് എക്സലൻസ് കഴിയാത്തത് എന്ന് നാം ഗൗരവമായി ചിന്തിക്കേണ്ടതുണ്ട്. സർക്കാർ ഇവിടെ കഴിയുന്നത്ര സൗകര്യങ്ങൾ ഒരുക്കാൻ ശ്രമിക്കുകയാണ്. ഇവിടെയുള്ള ന്യൂനതകൾ പരിഹരിക്കാനുള്ള ശ്രമവും നടത്തുകയാണ്. വിദഗ്ധ ഗവേഷകരെ പോലെ തന്നെ മെഡിക്കൽ ഡാറ്റ ശേഖരവും പ്രധാനമാണെന്ന് സർക്കാർ മനസ്സിലാക്കിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. വളരെ വലിയൊരു ഡാറ്റ ശേഖരം ഇപ്പോൾ സർക്കാരിൻ്റെ നിയന്ത്രണത്തിലുണ്ട്. അതിൻ്റെ സ്വകാര്യത സുരക്ഷിതമാണെന്ന് ഉറപ്പാക്കി മികച്ച ഗവേഷണ പഠനത്തിനായി അത് വിദഗ്ധർക്ക് ലഭ്യമാക്കണം എന്നതാണ് സർക്കാരിൻ്റെ നിലപാട്. ഇത്തരമൊരു പൊതു പശ്ചാത്തലത്തിലാണ് ഇന്നിവിടെ ഈ അന്താരാഷ്ട്ര കോൺഫറൻസും ശില്പശാലയും ആരംഭിക്കുന്നത്. ഇത് യുവ ഗവേഷക സമൂഹത്തിന് ആവേശം പകരുന്നതാകട്ടെ എന്നാശംസിക്കുന്നു. ധാരാളം വിദഗ്ധർ പങ്കെടുക്കുന്ന ഈ പരിപാടിയിൽ നിന്ന് ഉയർന്നു വരുന്ന നിർദ്ദേശങ്ങളിൽ സർക്കാരിന് വലിയ താൽപ്പര്യമുണ്ട്. ഇതിനു മുൻപ് നടന്ന കോൺഫറൻസിൽ വിദഗ്ധർ നൽകിയ വിലപ്പെട്ട മിക്ക നിർദ്ദേശങ്ങളും പ്രാവർത്തികമാക്കാനുള്ള നടപടികൾ സ്വീകരിച്ചു വരികയാണ് എന്നതും സന്തോഷപൂർവ്വം അറിയിക്കട്ടെ. വളരെ ഫലപ്രദമായ ചർച്ചകൾക്ക് ഇവിടെ ഈ വേദി ഉപകരിക്കട്ടെ എന്ന് ആശംസിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് ഈ അന്താരാഷ്ട്ര കോൺഫറൻസും ശില്പശാലയും ഔപചാരികമായി നിറഞ്ഞ സന്തോഷത്തോടെ ഉദ്ഘാടനം ചെയ്ത് അറിയിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് അവസാനിപ്പിക്കുന്നു. നിങ്ങൾക്കെൻ്റെ സ്നേഹാഭിവാദനം.
ഊഷ്മളവും പ്രചോദനാത്മകവുമായ വാക്കുകൾക്ക് ബഹുമാനപ്പെട്ട മുഖ്യമന്ത്രി ശ്രീ പിണറായി വിജയന് ഹൃദയപൂർവ്വം നന്ദി. Now we move on to the most awaited moments of this conference, the granting of Kairali Global Lifetime Achievement Prize for Researchers in Science 2021. The Government of Kerala has introduced the Kairali Research Awards to the scholars who excel in a particular subject with an aim to encourage the most eminent resource scholars and research pedagogues of the state. Kairali Lifetime Prize for Researchers in Science 2021 goes to Professor Salim Yusuf, one of the most cited scientists in the field of medical sciences and distinguished professor, School of Medicine, Medical Science, McMaster University, Canada. The award
Good morning, everybody. I've never been greeted with such good music. That's like Indiana Jones. Please, although I'm from Kerala, born in Kottarakara, 50 miles away, studied partly in Kerala. My Malayalam isn't great, so I'm not going to embarrass you or me. Thank you very much to the Kerala State Higher Education Council, Rajan Kurikal, and others who have awarded me the Global Achievement Award. Thanks also to the Chief Minister for vetting and organizing these awards. Many years ago, when I finished medical college in school at St. John's in Bangalore, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. But fortunately, I got a scholarship that took me to Oxford called the Rhodes Scholarship. The Rhodes Scholarship took me in a direction that I had never dreamt of, which was to do research even before I did my clinical training, postgraduate training, or in North America, as we say, residency. It changed me completely from being a clinical doctor to a doctor that wanted to combine clinical research and clinical medicine. And that has lasted throughout. After Oxford, I spent 8 years at the NIH and became the chief of a branch at the National Heart Lung Blood Institute. And then in 1992, I went to McMaster as the head of cardiology. After 12 years, I decided cardiology was too restrictive and we had to go beyond. And so I was interested in global health, especially the health of people in poor countries. 80% of the global burden of disease is in poor countries, but 80% of the research in the world is done in people in the rich countries. So we had to rectify it. And in my own small way, we created a collaboration in 102 countries in every continent of the world. And it involves about 110 hospitals in India, out of which many are in Kerala. Now, I wanted to come back to Kerala many times. I applied for positions, but I was told I could get a position doing clinical medicine, but I could not get a position in an academic center doing research. Part of it was structural, because I had no Indian postgraduate qualifications. My DPhil from Oxford was not recognized. My MRCP from England wasn't recognized. My 7 years of clinical training wasn't recognized. And I was told by none other than Professor Valiathan, very kindly, you have to start at the bottom again. I wasn't willing to go back and start 8 years at the bottom. But I believe the system has changed, which is good. And I want to thank the leaders who've changed the system. I don't want future bright young people to leave Kerala or to leave India and to have to pursue their dreams. So in my small way, in my tiny, tiny way, in addition to collaborating with people, including people in Trivandrum, we collaborate with people at the Achyuta Menon Center. I want to make a little donation, which is the prize award, the cash award, which I'm told is 5 lakhs. I want to give it back to the government to initiate a fund for medical research for young people. Now, I am known to be very blunt, and in true style, I will be so. Chief Minister, that money is not enough. We need probably 100 times. We need probably 100 times more money. And I know you, with the help of other people, will develop a fund to support research in the state. And thank you very much. So thank you all for coming.
As a token of appreciation and gratitude, Sri-Chitra Tirunal Institute of Medical Science and Technology is presenting mementos to the distinguished guests of the program. I invite Professor Sanjay Behari, Director, Sri Chitra Tirunal Institute, to present memento to the Honorable Chief Minister of Kerala, Shri Pinarayi Vijayan. Thank you, sir. Now I invite Honorable Minister for Health and Women and Child Development, Srimati Veena George, to render the presidential address.
Honorable Chief Minister of Kerala, Shri Pinarayi Vijayan, distinguished guests, my dear colleagues, dear brothers and sisters. First of all, I would like to congratulate Kerala State Higher Education Council, Sri Chitra Tirunal Institute of Medical Sciences and Technology, and also Kerala Medical Technology Consortium for organizing this international event. Our Honorable Chief Minister has already talked about our policy and vision on research, especially medical research and multidisciplinary research. Numerous scientific discoveries are being done worldwide, but only a small percentage of it is getting translated into actual effective treatments on remedies on the field. The positive outputs of biological, biochemical, and biomedical research should result in accessible, affordable, and high-quality care and better outcomes for all sections of the population, especially the marginalized sections of the population. The speed at which scientific discovery happens often outpaces the ability to translate these discoveries to life-saving solutions for the community. Also, many scientific discoveries and observations remain within the closed doors of labs and fail to advance down the development pipeline to reach the common man. Such workshops, trainings, and attempts at capacity building and better leadership development, translational research can reach new horizons. Such programs can ensure that life-saving discoveries and insights are not lost in translation due to the multitude of barriers in the research milieu, such as funding, organizational barriers, and lack of technical expertise. There are several areas where translational research can change the health status of communities and societies drastically, all the way from control of emerging and re-emerging infections to newly introduced pathogens to future pandemics, all the way to extremely nuanced areas like medical genetics, oncology, and cardiology. In a state like Kerala, with a triple burden of communicable diseases, non-communicable diseases, the aging population, and resultant comorbidities, all areas of translational research assume great importance. For example, the field of genetics has progressed iron leaps and bounds from the times of Gregor Mendel to reach a stage where we are now capable of tweaking genetic material to cure or manage better genetic and hereditary diseases as well as other diseases like cancers in many cases. But the speed with which such research translates into accessible and affordable treatment modalities to third world countries is a big question. Not only between countries, even within countries, there are gross disparities in the reach of modern biotechnology developments in reaching the poorest and most vulnerable sections of the population. I would say translational research has achieved its aim when the results of the most advanced research in biotechnology and related biomedical discoveries reach the last person in the poorest country in the shortest possible time. Translational biomedical research has become an extremely popular buzzword, fashionable concept recently. But I see it from the angle of equity, with the perspective of ensuring that all modern developments reach the most marginalized person in the community in the shortest possible time. The goal of translational research is to translate basic science discoveries more quickly and effectively into practice. The speed at which such translation occurs determines the level of equity on newer treatment modalities between countries and between communities. Hence, translational research, as I see it, it's an important tool in achieving equity in healthcare. Newer approaches to translational research can ensure that innovations reach the patient sooner and improve population health outcomes. I do sincerely hope that translational research can succeed in bridging the gaps in the medical care system, save more lives, save lives faster, and enhance quality of life. I sincerely hope that this workshop can contribute to higher quality healthcare for all and lead to a healthier and happier population. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam. Now I invite the Honorable Minister for Higher Education and Social Justice, Dr. R. Bindu, for addressing the conference. I also request Shri.C.Padmakumar, Special Officer KMTC, to kindly come onto the stage.
Honorable Chief Minister Shri Pinarayi Vijayan, Honorable Minister for Health Srimati Veena George, respected dignitaries on and of the dais, and dear friends. At the very outset, let me express my intense delight as the chairperson of the Kerala State Higher Education Council to greet you all on behalf of the Government of Kerala as we are gearing ahead to transform Kerala into a new knowledge society. The state of Kerala is on the threshold of a cataclysmic transformation in the field of higher education in general and research and innovation in particular. At present, we give greater attention to research, since research is the focal point of higher education. But research should not be understood as a mere academic activity. Research with social responsibility is our new motto. The new knowledge that is produced through research has to be transformed into socially useful products. Research must lead to great comfort and attainments for human society. Translational research leads to innovation and transformation of knowledge into productive ideas, which through incubation can be converted into startup ideas. These startups will contribute to economic production, thus contributing to the constitution of a new knowledge economy. With the public education that exists in the state, which is infused with social justice concepts, our centers of knowledge will distribute innovative ideas and their development into startups into the hands of our own people without barriers of economic, social, and other distinctions. Thus, the knowledge economy that we intend to build is a people-centric knowledge economy. Medical research is one area where exploitation is rampant, since the clientele is vulnerable, especially in life-threatening situations. IPR is the double-edged sword that cuts both ways. It restricts and commoditizes knowledge even as it makes that knowledge commercially viable. Proper training and value addition is essential to researchers. Training modules and workshops, conventions and conferences need to be organized to sensitize healthcare task force regarding various technical aspects related to IPR and other modalities. As of now, Kerala State Higher Education Council has held 3 conferences cum workshops at Cochin, Thiruvananthapuram and Kozhikode. Now the 4th one is being organized as an international event at the Shri.C. Institute of Medical Sciences and Technology. Under the leadership of Professor Salim Yusuf from McMaster University and Professor James Spudich from Stanford University. Knowledge translation has been becoming increasingly important the world over, and we have been straining at the leash to cope with global trend. We have to activate the research sector so as to be competent in transforming knowledge not only into uses and services, but also into products and processes, which is a dynamic process involving ideas, external relations, communication, and collaboration with multiple agencies for joint action. It's a major transformation. This transformation is all the more important in the healthcare sector, as elsewhere in the country, our best brains are in the medical colleges, demonstrating a world-class standard in clinical practice. But unlike elsewhere in the world, our medical professionals, deprived of methodological preoccupation, remain blind before a plethora of data right under their nose. With the cooperation of the premier institutions like Shri.C. Medical Institute, State Board of Medical Research and KMTC, we are trying to build up a research ecosystem in our medical institutions. Dr. M.S. Valiathan was the patron of our previous workshops. Professor Samir Kumar Brahmachari and Professor Salim Yusuf were with us as leaders. It is learned that the workshops have inspired a considerable number of students and teachers in the medical colleges. There are areas, the network of researchers and many subgroups among them organized under Dr. Jalil. Most of the mentors of the workshops are helping us in this workshop as well. Knowledge translation is globally an activity that furthers the interests of the corporate establishments. However, the government focus is social benefits, how to improve the quality of life and ensure social justice is what the government aims. This is particularly true in the case of knowledge translation in the sector of public health. Researchers from various branches of the medical science have assembled here. Wishing you all the best and congratulating the organizers once again. I conclude. Thank you.
Thank you for your enlightening words, Dr. R. Bindu, Honorable Minister for Higher Education and Social Justice. Now, let me invite Padma Vibushan, Professor Dr. M.S. Valiathan, National Research Professor and the founder of Shri.C. Institute for Medical Science and Technology, to address the gathering. Professor Valiathan is going to join via online. Sorry for the technical interruptions. We move on to the next person.
Distinguished Professor of Medicine, Stanford University and winner of Lasker Award, Professor James Spudich is cordially invited to render a few words of blessings.
Greetings to all. Newcomer to Kerala, my wife Anama and I have been married for more than 5 decades, and I've been coming to India and to Kerala probably even before many of you were born. So it's a very pleasure to be back here, and I look forward to having an opportunity to tell you about my personal experience in translational research. And I'll say right now that one thing I hope you get from my presentation is that it's not possible to choose a disease and decide to do research on that only to promote translational research. But as you'll see from my talk, you need to generate a really detailed understanding of the system you're studying, and that often involves starting with model systems as simple as amoebae, which is the way my work started. And so that's a little preface to my talk. Welcome to everybody to the conference, and I feel very fortunate to be invited to participate.
Thank you, sir. Now I invite Prof.Dr. Kunnummal, the Honorable Vice-Chancellor, Kerala University of Health Sciences, to address the conference.
Good morning to all. Honorable Chief Minister, Shri Pinarayi Vijayan, Honorable Ministers, Dr. Srimati Veena George, Dr. R. Bindu, Professor James Spudich, Shri.Padmakumar, and Professor Salim Yusuf, eminent scholars, teachers, faculty members, on the dais, off the dais, of the dais. What a wonderful meeting we are having today. The Honorable Chief Minister inaugurating, Honorable Health Minister, Honorable Education Minister, Professor Salim Yusuf, all are sitting here and all are talking only one thing, research. Research in medical sector. And this is a historic day as far as Kerala is concerned. As Chief Minister has rightly said, Kerala has made great indices in health sector. Infant mortality, maternal mortality, all these things are a wonderful indices. And how we made it? With 1/80th cost of what did by United States of America. So we have made a Kerala model. And how we could make this Kerala model? Because even though our morbidity rate was very high, somebody intervened and people are not dying. That's why the mortality was low. And this was done by our health professionals. The point is, all of us were concentrating on clinical care. All of us were concentrating on supporting our patients. In that process, we didn't have enough time to do research. Now we realize that clinical care is not enough. Especially after COVID, we realized that we have to create our own knowledge. And that is what has been inaugurated today by Honorable Chief Minister. And I thank Professor Salim Yusuf for starting the fund. You gave the seed. And you are a person who, wherever you touches, it becomes golden. And this golden touch, I hope that this will become a huge fund and all of us are ready to do research. On behalf of Kerala University of Health Sciences, I can say, I have 100,000 students. I have 17,000 faculty, 320 institutions. Just imagine, all of them are going ahead for research, what we can create. And I assure that I will lead all of them. And Kerala University of Health Sciences will lead in this endeavor and return what the state needs. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your enlightening words. As a token of appreciation and gratitude, Sri.Chitra Tirunal Institute of Medical Science and Technology is presenting mementos to our distinguished guests. I invite Professor Sanjay Behari, Director, Sri.Chitra Tirunal Institute, to present memento to Honorable Minister for Higher Education and Social Justice, Dr. R. Bindu. Professor Sanjay Behari is requested to present memento to Honorable Minister for Health and Women and Child Development, Srimati Veena George.
Thank you, sir. Next, let me invite Shri.C.Padmakumar, Special Officer, Kerala Medical Technology Consortium, to address the gathering.
Good morning, everyone. Distinguished dignitaries on the dais, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to be here as part and representing the Kerala Medical Technology Consortium, which is a new entity created by the Kerala government 1 year ago in June 2022, with the express aim of making Kerala state the medical device hub of India by 2032. That's in 10 years' time. Now, this might seem to be a very lofty ambition, considering that most people don't think Kerala is a great place to do business. However, we think otherwise, and I would just like to share a couple of points with the audience today. When I took up this assignment a year ago, I had been working in Kerala, specifically based in Trivandrum, for close to 37 years. So I assumed that I knew something about the state of Kerala, especially about my business, which was the medical device business. So I worked with and co-promoted a company called Penpal, which makes blood bags based on technology which was developed by the Sri.C.Padmakumar Institute. My impression was that we have 3 or 4 companies in Kerala which make medical devices. In the space of the last 13 months, we have discovered there are 28 medium-sized and large companies in Kerala making medical devices. Interestingly, all of these companies export in significant numbers. And why this is important is because till 6 years ago, that is till 2017, there was no regulation of medical devices in India, barring 21 devices. So it's not surprising that India doesn't have a great reputation as a quality manufacturer of medical devices globally. We also have insignificant market share, less than 1.5%. So we are obviously punching way below our weight when it comes to medical devices. The Sri.C.Padmakumar Institute was set up by the government of Kerala in 1976. It's almost 50 years ago, and represents actually the foundation of the modern medical device industry in this country. The question remains, have we done justice to that very far-sighted decision taken by the then government? And has the industry grown to the extent that it should have? And I think the answer is really no. We haven't really done justice. In comparison, we have a country which started exactly at the same time, that is Ireland, in the mid-1970s from zero. And currently, they are the second largest exporter in Europe after Germany. Their exports is 11.6 billion euros. Our total market is only 11 billion dollars, and most of it is imports. I have just a couple of points to add, and which I think has a bearing on this very important conference and workshop. And that is, Kerala actually has been blessed with some significant research institutions. Now, as we know, research institutions take time to develop. They can't be built up overnight. And starting with, of course, the Sri Chitra Tirunal Institute, which is the nodal center for biomedical research in India. We have several similar organizations, but I don't think we have really used these organizations very well. I'm not getting into, who is responsible for this state of affairs, but I think industry also needs to look at itself. So if we are going to see products emerging, as we heard the Chief Minister, the ministers mention, as an output of translational research and reach the market, we would certainly need industry to get involved. Now, Indian industry doesn't have a great reputation. I believe we spend the lowest in the world on R&D, and the same is the case with our medical device industry. So I hope industry will take a cue from this. We're very glad to see that there are many industries represented in this international conference and workshop. We have co-chairs for many of the sessions represented from industry, so this is a very good beginning. And I'm hoping that we will see much greater integration between academia, research institutions, and hospitals and industry. The Kerala Medical Technology has been taking some steps to try and bring all these different stakeholders together in the form of regular stakeholder connect meets, which are small groups of about 60 to 80 people, carefully selected, who meet in different locations across the state. We have conducted 7 such meetings, and I think the results have been very encouraging. Let me conclude by saying that it's a great pleasure to be here, and KMTC is delighted to be a part of this conference, and wishing you all a very stimulating 2 days ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable insights. Now, Sri Chitra Institute is presenting mementos to other invited guests. I invite Dr. Harikrishna Verma, Head of Biomedical Technology Wing, Sri Chitra Tirunal Institute of Medical Science and Technology, to present memento to the distinguished Professor, McMaster University, Canada, and recipient of Kairali Global Lifetime Achievement Award, Professor Salim Yusuf. Dr. Harikrishna Verma is requested to present memento to the Vice Chairman, the Kerala State Higher Education Council, Dr. Rajan Gurukal. Dr. Harikrishna Verma is again requested to present the memento to the Professor of Medicine at Stanford University, Professor James Spudich. Thank you, sir. Now I invite Dr. Roy Joseph, Dean, Academic, Sri Chitra Tirunal Institute of Medical Science and Technology, to present the memento. To Honorable Vice-Chancellor, Kerala University of Health Sciences, Dr. Mohanan Kunnummal. Dr. Roy Joseph is again requested to present memento to Special Officer, Kerala Medical Technology Consortium, Shri.C.Padmakumar. Thank you, sir. Now, Professor Sanjay Behari, Director, Sri Chitra Tirunal Institute of Medical Science and Technology, is warmly invited to make a presentation on Sri Chitra Institute and its activities, including biomedical translational research.
So, I have the presentation, please. Yeah. So, first of all, before I actually start my presentation today, I'd like to, for 5 minutes, tell you about the illustrious people who are here today. Of course, Shri Pinarayi Vijayan, the Honorable Chief Minister of Kerala, needs no introduction. And he's been a great force in Kerala's progress. And this has made Kerala probably the most educated and the health-conscious state of India. Srimati Veena George, the Honorable Minister of Health, and Dr. R. Bindu, the Home Minister of Higher Education, have always been so supportive of the activities of Sri Chitra Tirunal Institute of Medical Sciences. And I can say that they have a huge contribution to play in the education and the health status of this state. Prof. Padma Vibushan, Professor Valiathan, has been a guiding light in my own journey as a director here, and his insights and his inspiration have been outstanding in the development of this institute and the educational status of this wonderful institute. Professor Salim Yusuf, the distinguished professor, School of Medicine, McMaster University, Canada, and winner of the Kairali Global Lifetime Award, has been an inspiration for all of us. He has participated in the education in Kerala, and his magnanimous gift today, I think, will initiate a huge momentum for the educational initiatives of the state of Kerala, and I congratulate you, sir, for this. Professor James Spudich, the winner of the Lasker Award, which is probably one of the most prestigious awards and the distinguished professor of science, Stanford University, as well as Dr. Mrs. Annamma Spudich, the visiting professor to Tata Institute of Fundamental Research and a renowned cellular biologist. I welcome both of you. It's an honor and a great privilege for us that you're here, so thank you so much. Professor Sanjay Mishra, we've had a long association. He's an eminent surgical oncologist of the state of Lucknow, and he holds the distinct privilege of being probably the longest serving Vice-Chancellor or Director of India. He has been for 10 years the Director of All India Institute of Medical Sciences, Jodhpur, and he's right now the Vice-Chancellor of University of Health Sciences, Uttar Pradesh. Welcome here, sir. Professor Amitabh Bandyopadhyay, who's going to join us tomorrow, has been the head of the innovation cell of IIT Kanpur. And this innovation cell has ranked the first in the country in terms of translation. So he's going to join us tomorrow, but I think his coming here will be a huge stimulus for all of us here. Professor Mohammad Hanif, who is the IAS and the Principal Secretary Health, has also been a huge, huge inspiration for all of us, and he is also going to join us very soon. Professor Mohan Kunnummal, I was just telling him one very interesting thing, that I cannot imagine how unperturbed and how calm he is, having control of more than 10 lakh students in the state of Kerala. And I've always seen him smiling and always in a state of equanimity. I think we all need to take a lot of inspiration from you, sir. Thank you so much. We have one very eminent member. Many of you don't know him, but he has played a huge role in the development of Sri Chitra, and that is Justice Hariharan, who has been the director and the chairman of our ethics committee. And I can tell you, and all the faculty members of Sri Chitra continuously complain to me that it's probably one of the toughest ethics committee that they can think of, and they want us to dilute the rules on a daily basis. So thank you so much for being here and for guiding us. He was the only serving justice of India who has actually been on the ethics committee. So thank you so much for this. We have Professor Ajit Kumar, who's the previous director and who has he was the head of cardiology. And what probably many of you don't know is that the electrophysiology center of Sri Chitra is ranked in the first 10 in the country, and he has been largely responsible for it. And I mean, the way he guided me into my role as a director, I will always be grateful to him for that. Thank you so much for coming, sir. Thanks. Professor Shri.Padmakumar, who's been the special officer of the Kerala Medical Technology Consortium. Ever since I came here, I think this is one of the luckiest things that happened to me, because he has been continuously supporting me in all the initiatives, and a lot of things which we have gained over the last 1.5 years is because of his extreme initiatives in sorting out all these problems. So, sir, thank you so much for being here, and I'm really grateful. And there is one more person who is Shri Balagopal. Probably he was an IAS officer, and he resigned from the post of Indian Administrative Service. And after resigning from the post of Indian Administrative Service, he took the challenge of taking up a technology from Sri Chitra, and this was in the form of blood bag. And he formed a very eminent company, which is probably one of the largest Indian companies, which is known as Penpal, and then it became Thiruvananthapuram Penpal. And now the sales of blood bags, which partly was initiated by Chitra, but partly researched by his company, is now selling nearly 5 million blood bags per month in the entire, in entire Asia. So that initiative, that startup initiative, which he made for the state of Kerala, I think we all need to emulate and translate. Thank you so much, sir. We also have several other very, very eminent people here. We have Professor U.S. Jatil, who is the principal scientist at the National Institute of Advanced Studies, Bangalore. We have Professor Anurag Agarwal, who is the director of CSIR IGIB, and Dr. Vinod Sakaria, who is also from a senior scientist from IGIB. We have Dr. P.S. Indu, who is the professor of community medicine and the nodal officer of SBMR. We have Dr. Rajan Varghese, who has been the member secretary of Kerala State Higher Education Council, and who has been the initiator of all these initiatives in the knowledge sector of the state. We have Professor Sanjeev Jain, who is from the Department of Psychiatry of NIMHANS. We have Shri Guruswamy, who is the Chief Operating Officer of BPL Medical Technologies. We have Dr. Srijit PS, who is the Research Scientist of MR, Government Medical College. Dr. Sandhya, also from Government Medical College. We have Mr. Manoj, who is the Vice President, Innovation and Development, Thiruvananthapuram Penpal Industry. And we have Mr. Thomas John, who is the Managing Director of Agape Diagnostics. Finally, I'd like to tell you about one person who, in a very quiet way, has been initiating all these things, and that is Professor Rajan Gurukul. I think we owe him a big round of applause for his wonderful initiatives in this field. And I will be failing in my duty if I don't talk about some very important people in my own organization who have really helped me in organizing this wonderful event. And that is Dr. Hari Krishna Verma, who is the head of the Biomedical Technology Wing. We have Professor Roy Joseph, who is the Dean of the Medical Faculty, and Professor Jayashri, who was also one of the key people who actually organized these events. Thank you so much for being here. I just want to, I have taken all these names for one small reason. The fact that so many illustrious people have come here and have actually, are actually spending their time here really means that it really means that they are really serious about your education and making sure that in the medical device translation, you really learn a lot. So thank you very much, all of you, sir, for being here, and thank you so much. Now I start my presentation, which is a short presentation, which actually is introducing Sri Chitra Tirunal Institute to you. So it is ranked in the first 10 in the NIRF rank, and in the field of biomedical engineering, it is ranked #1 in the country today. In terms of translation and in the terms of in vivo means within the body medical device development. And it is an institute of national importance. There are only 5 institutes of national importance in the country, and this is one of them. So as has already been told, it has 3 wings. One is the Medical Institute and Hospital, which is actually focused on cardiac and radiological sciences. It has a public health wing, which focuses on public health, and it has a biomedical technology wing, which is known for its biomedical technology development. And of course, it runs several academic programs in the country. Most of the focus is on cardiology, cardiac surgery, the cardiological sciences, the neurological sciences, the radiological sciences, and the affiliated branches. It gives DM, MCH, PDF, and PDCC. It has some special nursing programs. It has some PG diploma programs. It gives MD in some specialties like transfusion medicines. And there is also some certification programs in physiotherapy. The public health program focuses on Master of Public Health and Diploma of Public Health. And then it has several PhD programs, and there are joint programs of Sri Chitra with IIT Chennai and with CMC Vellore. The Biomedical Technology Wing mainly focuses on biomaterial science and technology, on applied biology, medical device engineering, and technology and quality management. And of course, this was a very generous gift nearly 40 years ago from the royal family of Trivandrum. And because of this illustrious thing has developed, this institute has been developed, and the Chief Minister, Honorable Chief Minister, Professor Menon and Professor Valiathan together made a huge contribution to its progress. The expansion of the institute took place by another contribution from the royal family, and that is the Settlement Palace campus. And this is where our biomedical technology wing is housed. And this is now one of the premier biomedical technology development institutes of the country. And the message which Professor Valiathan gave was to make devices indigenously, and not only make them indigenously, but the products have to be as good as the best in the world in performance and safety. And that is what we really have to focus upon. So in the last 1 year, a lot of patients were treated in cardiac and neurological sciences in inpatients, and a lot of surgeries were performed. And the average impact factor of the publications has been 4.74, which is pretty high in this. The institute received extramural grants worth approximately 22 crores in the last 1 year. There were 4 international and national awards in the last 2 years: the National Petrochemical Award, the SS Bhatnagar Award, the Best Investigator Award in the Lower and Middle Income Country region, the International Behavioral Trials Network and University of Montreal Award, and the British Council Award and the UK Alumni Award. 90 faculty members focused on cardiac and neuroscience in the related wing, and 10 in the public health wing, and about 45 in the biomedical technology wing. The number of patents granted overall were 169. The patents filed were 218. The number of foreign patents filed were 21. The number of foreign patents granted were 15. The number of design registrations were 63. And the number of trademark registered were 8. And the granted last year, just last year, the number of patents granted were 32. The number of Indian patent applications filed were 25. The number of foreign patent applications filed were 2. And foreign patent granted was 1. Design registrations was and number of trademark registered were 17. We have several educational collaborations with National Institute, the Inspire Fellowship of the Department of Science and Technology for Northeastern States in Jammu and Kashmir. We are a part of that. We have collaboration with Kerala government on several medical and engineering fields. There is an immersion program for students in schools and colleges on Science Day and Foundation Day. And of course, we started the Ayushman Bharat, which has actually helped 4,919 patients of the state of Kerala and Tamil Nadu in cardiac and neurological diseases. And of course, the hospital wing has these branches, which I told you before, it focuses on neurosciences, cardiac sciences, and radiological sciences. In the neurosciences, I'd like to specially tell you about a few areas. In the entire country, in epilepsy surgery and in stroke program, probably this has the highest number of research publications, the highest numbers of extramural funding, and the highest number of patients being treated for these specific diseases in the country. Then the other important focus areas are awake surgery. So you don't have to actually anesthetize a patient. The patient is talking to you while you're performing brain surgery. So that can easily be done here. The other important thing is that we do deep brain stimulation for movement disorder. It is probably the highest number of cases in India are done at this center. And in movement disorders, what we do is we put an electrode with 1 millimeter accuracy into the brain. And that helps us in giving continuous stimulus current. And that actually takes care of movement disorders of Parkinson's disease. And the biomedical technology wing is at the threshold of developing our own indigenous deep brain stimulation system, which we are hoping in the next 2 years will be translated and marketed. Of course, our endoscopic system, where you can actually go through the nasal cavity and take out tumors from the base of the skull, is also in a very, very advanced stage here. So that means there are no incisions which are given on anywhere. So after a brain surgery, you actually cannot know that the patient has undergone brain surgery. And of course, spinal surgery is a very important area here. Among the radiological sciences, there are lots of imaging programs, various areas which are developed. But the most important thing is that we are on the threshold of bringing out a new software where we can actually do angiogram of the brain without using any dye. And this has been patented, and this will actually just be translated very soon. 3D printing simulation is a very important part of the important thing. And then the clot retriever stents, various stents are being made at the biomedical technology wing. Of course, the embolic material, which won the national award, is a very unique thing where a non-metallic embolic agent is now being translated, and we shall soon see an Indian embolic agent with its own catheters, which has been produced by Sri Chitra. The various microspheres, which have also been translated very recently, will actually help patients with osteomyelitis, because whatever is the space created by that infection, that saucerized space which is created by the infection, these microbeads come there and they are drug-eluting microbeads. And the osteoblasts or the bone cells forms a scaffolding for all the osteoblasts and cells. So this is a very, very important thing. In the cardiac sciences, as I told you before, rhythm disturbances, heart failure program, pediatric cardiac sciences, and interventional radiology are very, very important aspects of this program. We are ranked in rhythm disturbances. This is a very unique place where non-invasively, with using catheters, you can put electrodes into the heart and actually give correct current, and that can actually take care of contractility of the heart, making sure that the rhythm disturbances are completely taken care of. And it is ranked in the first 10 in the world in treating these disorders. All credit to Professor Ajit here. Of course, one very unique factor which is not present in any other area in the country, very few centers are working on this, is vascular surgery. And peripheral vascular surgery forms a very important component here. And of course, pathology, microbiology, where a very, very rigid antibiotic policies is utilized for the department. There is a molecular genetics unit, a central clinical laboratory, and research laboratories are very important components of this. The transfusion medicine department is very unique because this is the only department in the country where the entire blood bank is maintained by voluntary blood donation. So no relative who's undergoing any surgery in the institute has to donate blood. Everything is based on voluntary blood donation, and it is the state of education of Kerala that is responsible for this complete drive for voluntary donation in the country. We now, you can just see outside this building, we have a Pradhan Mantri Swasthya Suraksha Yojana building, which is going to be a 170-bedded ICU building, and that will make it the largest cardiac and neuroscience center of the country. Of course, we told you about the program, but there is one very interesting program which has just started, and that is the integrated MD, DM, and MCH program with PhD for the first time in the country. Talking about the biomedical technology wing, it's a beautiful place. I think I invite all of you to please go there, visit the place, visit the labs. It's a beautiful surrounding. And the important devices which have been now manufactured there are the second generation Chitra heart valve, which has been now implanted in nearly 1.5 lakh patients of India and abroad. The left ventricular assist device, we had a presentation on that in the morning, blood pump, aortic stent graft, annuloplasty ring. It forms a ring in the, for implantation of the heart. The atrial septal defect occluder, non-invasively, you can go interventionally and do that. You have flow diverter stents, coronary stents, the radio-opaque embolization agent. You have external defibrillator and implantable cardioverter and defibrillator, which you implant inside the body. It actually detects your heart rhythm. And if there is a sudden asystole, sudden stoppage of heart, then it automatically starts giving current to the heart to make it work. So this is a very important. Among the neural prosthetics devices, we have a deep brain stimulator. So a small electrode is placed in one small area of the brain, and by stimulating of that area, you can actually stop movement disorders. There are implantable microinfusion pumps. So there are patients with severe spasticity. Supposing somebody has a spinal cord injury, the patient is very, very spastic. So you can actually put this implantable microinfusion pump inside and actually give baclofen. And this baclofen will take care of the spasticity. There are spinal cord stimulators for pain. There are intracranial electrodes for measuring electroencephalographic activity of the brain. There are programmable hydrocephalic shunts, and the brain tumor interface is also being developed. Several orthopedic and orthotic rehabilitation implants are being developed here. And the other very important point is a point of care in vitro diagnostics, where you have several systems have been developed where spot testing, what used to take several hours, of lab related work, just put a drop of blood and you get the entire spectrum of investigations which can be done in 1 second. So those, all of them have been developed. Of course, the blood bags I've already talked about is a huge achievement. Several technology commercializations have taken place, and this has actually, the actually commercialization rate is about 30%, which is probably the highest in the country. And several, therefore, technologies have been transferred already. The infant warmers, the left ventricular assist devices, the atrial septal defect closure devices, the flow diverter shunt, the liquid embolic agents, then several COVID-related products, and bioceramic bone grafts and respiratory secretion solidification system, and drug-eluting bioactive bone cements, and of course, many wound dressings are also done. In the biology wing also, several kits have been made available. They are also extremely useful during the COVID time. And in the thrombosis research lab, there are several technologies which have also been transferred. And the molecular medicine unit, where the RT-PCR kits and the lamps which have been made have been actually accepted by World Health Organization. And probably next month, they are having an official international kind of technology transfer announcement, and it will be put on the WHO website. And of course, in the tissue engineering section, the lint-free absorbent dressing and many other technologies are being done. During the COVID time, of course, we rose to the challenge, and there were several products being made which were very, very useful to the health of the people. There's one important aspect. Before I came here, I didn't even know about them, but they are very important aspects for the medical device development. And they relate to several aspects like intellectual property right. So when there is a collaboration, how do you decide intellectual property? That's a very important aspect. The technology business division looks after a translation of a technology after it is actually made. So most of us will stop at the valley of death, which is TRL level 4 or 5, which means when it comes to translation to the industry, suddenly we stop. And we need specialized people to translate to the industry, and there is one special division which is especially focusing on that. We have a customer service cell which is focusing on our devices. We have a calibration cell. And this is a very important aspect, because what happens is that when we make medical devices, we need to test them to ensure that they meet the standards, the national standards, the international standards. And for that, we have these standardization cells. We have a central analytical facility. We have a quality cell. And we have a division of engineering services, which actually focus on all these things. And in the National IP Cell, 2019 received the National Award for Patents and Commercialization. And we have one startup group, which is known as the TimeMed group. So several startup companies actually are mentored by this group. We give them some seed money. They come with ideas. We help them develop those ideas. We mentor them, offer them services of Shri Chitra. And I'm very honored to say that the last 2 years of the best startup company award in India is being given to Sascan startup company here, which has a stall outside, and they received 50 lakhs in 2 years, both years. They won the first prize there. We also are given by the Department of Science and Technology some seed money to develop certain funds. And on the basis of these funds, this is known as the Technology Research Center. And on the basis of that, we have several technologies which have been transferred over the last 5 years. And in the biomedical technology wing, there is a combination devices block which is coming up. And this is a very unique concept for the first time in India. And what it means is that whenever you're making a device, it involves several combinational technologies. For example, you have health sciences, microbiology, working with an engineer, working with an electronic engineer, working with a mechanical engineer, working with a design engineer. All of them get together to make a product. So this particular area will actually focus on combination of devices and their further translation. And of course, the MTech program is just starting. PhD is already in place, and there are several integrated programs in place. And this is probably one of the most eminent centers, which is the public health centers, which has just 10 faculty members, but it is responsible for the Bhatnagar Award and the British Council Award. And probably this year, there's a huge grant from the British Council, which runs into millions of dollars. So this will come through. And there is the specialize in public health informatics, spatial epidemiology tools are there. There are bridging telemedicine tools. Only yesterday, the Gates Foundation, Melinda Gates and Bill Gates Foundation has contacted us for a collaboration. This was just yesterday. The health technology assessment evaluation is being done. And of course, there's a data science approach to routine data. And what it means is that you go all over the country, go to various districts, see what the communicable diseases are, what the non-communicable diseases are, and objectively and scientifically assess those particular areas, and then plan your strategies, plan your resources based on what is the need for that particular district. And real-time monitoring of fieldwork is very, very important, because what happened, this came in very handy with all these infections coming up, viral infections. So what happens is you don't have to seal the entire state. So if there is 2 districts which have, say, 5 patients or 6 patients, you can just seal that area and keep the rest of the state functioning. And this has a huge role on economy. So this is and there is a web portal of telemedicine project, and they give a Master of Public Health degree and PhD degrees, and there is an affiliation with IIT Chennai and CMC Vellore. To conclude, I'll just tell you, this year has been particularly lucky for us. This year means this financial year, which starts from 1st April 2023 to today. So we have a COFRAC. COFRAC is an accrediting agency in France. And for almost 15 years, all our testing services are being evaluated by them, and they ensure that the standards, international standards of testing are maintained. And they came and they have actually given us another license for 5 years. The NABH accreditation also came for the next 5 years. The CDSCO, the primary organization which is responsible for the development of biomedical technology products in the country, has given us recognition for our wound dressing material. And this is the first time a biological product which is completely made in India which was actually improved in India, translated in India, and then tested in India, and then finally now is being used in India. This recognition has just come, and this has come this week. There is a WHO, as I told you, the WHO is just going to put it on the global website of RT-PCR tests, kits that we made during the COVID time. So they will now take this kit and now disseminate it globally. There is a 10 crore grant for the Center of Applied Biology, for which various equipment will be actually installed in this financial year. Then it is known as the Best Gender Advancement Center. It has been ranked in the Best Gender Advancement Center in country. Then a very interesting thing which happened was that the first in the world randomized controlled trial of stroke and the role of Ayurveda versus allopathy that was conducted here, and the results are just being published, and they were actually presented at the international conference in Geneva as an invited article in this case. The BIRAC Young Scientist Award has just been received by one of our youngsters who has gone to South Africa for this award, and this is only about 4 months, and we have 4 WHO certified field liaison officers who are now in the public health wing. One of our faculty members won the Fellow of Royal College of Physicians, and one of our other faculty members won the Fellow of Royal College of Surgeons, Edinburgh, ad hominem. And ad hominem is the highest honor which the Royal College can give anybody. And translation of microbeads and spinal retractors were taking place. There's an ICMR approval for spot diagnosis for urinary tract infection, which is also right in the pipeline. There several patents and design registrations were done. There is a 7 crore grant for various projects, which we actually allotted till 10 o'clock last night after a contentious meeting. And of course, I told you about the best startup company for the last 2 years. So to conclude, I'd like to make 3 or 4 small messages for the children here. First of all is an immersion. That is a very important aspect. So when you continuously go along one pathway, and you are very comfortable, you know everybody around you, and you're very happy in that situation, and you go on making progress, you go on getting recognition for it, and you're very comfortable, or life becomes comfortable, and you think that's the best thing you do. That's the time for you to suddenly say, I need to change things, and go into another setup, and you can only swim, learn to know swimming by actually jumping into the pool. So once you jump into a pool, then there is an irreversibility about it. You cut off all your previous ties, and then suddenly new things start. And because you have taken that decision yourself, you work hard to make things a success. And that is what immersion is. And I request you to continuously rethink. As soon as you're comfortable, then you say, no, I'm too comfortable. I need to get into an immersive area at another place. The second important thing about translation of devices is something that I have learned, that what we all do is we make fantastic products, we patent them, we register them, we do everything with them, but then we fail. And we fail because even when we have translated those devices, we don't think that we actually need to communicate with all the companies and ensure that they are further refined and made popular and then taken to the market and sold for something. So this is very important. When the blood bags, when you see, 50% or maybe 25% of the work was done by Sri Chitra, but 75% was done, the refinement was done, then they came back to Sri Chitra, there was further input into it, then they went back to their own labs, they further worked with it. So your work does not stop at just simply inventing a thing, or it is a huge epiphany involved, and that epiphany means continuously working at it at the point of great physical and mental discomfort. And that is something that you all need to think about. The third very important thing is diversification of skills is very, very important. You have to seek cooperation, seek help. You have to diversify your skills. Without this diversification of skills, there is nothing. You think unilaterally you do anything, you cannot do anything. It has to be an amalgamation of several skills which actually helps you actually translate your products. And the final point that I'd like to make is that there has to be a commitment to self-development and self-awareness. And as soon as there is a commitment to self-development and self-awareness, what you do is to see ourselves as others see us. So thank you very much, and I warmly welcome you. I hope you have a wonderful time here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor Sanjay Behari, for your informative introduction of the Sri Chitra Tirunal Institute to the gathering.